terms of resourcefulness in Brazil, I was shocked by Fabiano's house. He, from the moment we walked in, I could just tell he was super creative and just thought of really brilliant ways of turning trash into, or what we would perceive as trash, into something very useful. He had plants growing out of old like baking flour bags, and he had a bunch of bottles stacked up that kind of looked like decoration. He had CDs hanging from his ceiling as decoration, and more bottles with plants in them, and we planted inside of tires, old tires, and it definitely made me take a step back and think about the things that I throw away at home and that I wish I hadn't, so that I could use them in the ways that he had, and make something cool out of it.
They really just utilize all the resources at their disposal. For example, in the forest, they'll go down to the trees and cut down lumber if they need to build something, or take the palms off of trees and make thatch, or just the fruit that grows on the trees and the fish in the river. And they're really adept at using their resources without abusing their resources, and I find that very admirable.
Thatch was a very instrumental material within the Anak community. They used it for so many different things. They had it on their roofs, some people had it along the sides of their house. It was used for crafts. The process of when we went in to go collect the thatch was very interesting. We had to wear long pants, and we went into the forest, and we went with members of the community, and they had their machetes, and they knew the exact pieces that they wanted to get, and they would cut the ferns.
You see how they're lashing this down? How they're tying this? You know how we have this little like winches thing? You go click, 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 click.
Yeah.
They're doing it. They're twisting it with this little.
It's like how you do a tourniquet.
And they taught us how to open the thatch. And you wouldn't think that it would be too extremely difficult, but there definitely was a process. There's a different process from the ferns on the bottom, and then on the top. And you had to use a specific hand movement. And when we started, we all seemed a little bit confused about what to do with our hands, but we figured it out. But we were still pretty slow nonetheless compared to the members of the community. I think at that time it took me to take one, and I was proud of myself because I thought I was in a rhythm. There would be another community member who had finished 4. And I was like, okay, so I'm not that good at it. But they do this for a living, so it was fun to be able to learn the techniques that they were teaching us. And you had to be really careful when you were doing that, because they cut really deep, and I cut my finger on the thatch, and I know there's a couple other people who did as well, and they got some slices on their hands.
This funky, like, woven thatch sock looking thing. They use it like to sort of press the manioc flour while it's still really wet, or I guess it's not flour yet, but it's like ground up manioc and it's soaking wet, and so they shove it all into this funky sock thing, like tamp it down, hook it up against a tree, and like pull it, and it works like a Chinese finger trap. It just sort of like squeezes all the water out, and yeah, it's really cool because like I feel like a similar thing that we use would be like a big press with like a huge metal thing that you squish it down, and they managed to get the same like use out of just a bunch of straw, just using like weaving and stuff like that.
This is some kind of like it's a relative of a coconut, they said, because you usually have another one of these on the other side, and so this one already started to open, and each of these little fruits between the leaves will make a little coconut that they eat, and it tastes a lot like coconut apparently, and then they use this to decorate houses and make other kinds of crafts.
Something else about the thatch is that they used it when they were for crafting, and when we were in the second community, they were teaching us how to make little pot holders or baskets, and it was really hard with the communication barrier at this point with the thatch, because they were trying to teach us and we didn't know what they were trying to say, because you have to use a specific starting point, and we didn't know how to twist the thatch correctly yet, and we didn't know how thin it had to be, but the members were really nice and they tried to show us what to do, and it takes a lot of skill, and there's something that you can really appreciate about all the crafts that we got.